John, I'm really interested to see this. That looks like a quite good graphical representation about what we talked about last time, where we were looking at co-requisite and prerequisite approaches to affirming, I suppose, what principals are doing as part of this new enhanced Masters of Leadership Management Education. Do you mind talking a bit more about how you see this working?
So we think the design is as important as the substance because of the nature of learning in its dynamic way and the different ability to present it today, right? We don't just have the come here 2 hours every Wednesday night and for 2 years and you have a degree. So what we're trying to conceptualize in an 8-course master's program for people that come in with their leadership skills already a bit tested is 8 courses, 3 modules. Those modules will be a combination of live, online, and hybrid, which allow us to be flexible. But for example, if we have 3 modules in 8 courses, that's 24 modules. And is it possible that we could then, with a combination of these learning outcomes, allow someone to come in and say, all right, I actually have already accomplished course 1, and we tick that off. But in course 2, I need module B. In course 3, I need module C. Course 4 and 5, I need the whole lot. In course 6, I really just need A.
Yeah. And
package that somehow. Or you could come and say, my staff just needs module B out of course 7, and can we do that 2 days across something like term 1 and term 2? To have that flexibility to the design is where we're trying to get.
So we're seeing this really as something that we can dip in and out of, and it really can be anywhere up to a full master's level, a graduate certificate status, or even a single certificate. And it's mixed mode in delivery, the way I'm interpreting what you're saying.
And that's where the leadership team of principals you're part of that we've been brainstorming this with, I think has given us the insight that the content might have to be so relevant that you don't have to do the assessment task, you might just do a professional development, or if you do, it meets the merit of a postgraduate course by itself. What we'll want to tease out further is the medium of online effective for some versus face-to-face? Is it school-based? Is it university-based? Is it a combination? Because that also would be one of the drivers for whether it's successful. Because fully online is probably makes some of this dialogue and interaction, what we're talking about, a little too easy. And others of it, data mining and some of the other classes we're working with, probably is really easier and more appropriate to do that way. So I think that's the other layer we got to add to this.
I'm just wondering too, is there capacity, and obviously this will have to serve all 3 sectors, and it'll have to serve primary, secondary largely. There may be a component of early childhood campuses in there too. What thought will we give to recognising principals are busy, and from the university's perspective I perceive that we need to make this an attractive alternative, and this has to be a better way to enhance one's knowledge, affirm one's belief or practice, but also to develop it. So how do you see us, I suppose, meeting the needs at a very specific and teacher, principal-centred way in this modular approach without sort of destroying the integrity of the overall credential?
I think the first is that we align the assessment tasks, that they have this aspect of relevance. And in the brainstorming we did in our larger planning meeting last week, what we came up with, I think, is a design that everything's not a 3,000-word essay, that actually applying the skill set that's learned in the module to the setting of your current school, prospective school, to the district, to the department, to Boston, wherever we might be building this, that it actually has that applied component. So you're not actually stopping work to work on your degree. You're actually doing your work and integrating the coursework inside of it. So much of this will be allowed to be much more seamless than, oh, I got to hurry and get to the car park in time to run to class and wonder if the lecture tonight is actually relevant.
Oh, no. Yes.
And building the readings around so the readings complement those modules so that it isn't feeling like a force. So I think that's the first thing, is we got to get the assessment task right and also varied so the principal can build her or his portfolio based on the evidence. So it's matching the leadership standards, and it's matching actually what principals are building for their own professional development, so it's not a separate piece, it's one big portfolio of evidence out of their program.
Probably got 2 follow-ups on that. I don't think for the integrity of it, and on the outsider here, but I don't think for the integrity of it someone should just be able to walk in and RPL what they're doing as part of their job. But is there a potential at a higher level where, for example, a principal of a small school, primary or secondary, might be directly having a hands-on role with their professional development framework for their staff and their executive and their aspirants, or indeed in a large school where the principal might be leading a team of senior executive, delegating that task. If there was a module on professional leadership and capacity building, is there a place for where they can use that work process and actually critically appraise it, relate that back to the literature, and then develop their own schema, their own understanding and knowledge from there?
Yeah, I think if we, for example, if your school now was going to adopt a new technology plan, and they're looking at it to drive change in the classroom, that instead of just picking the one that the school down the street had done or what was recommended by the experts at the state level, that actually a program evaluation was put in place to go retroactively to other schools and interview them about what was this like and did it meet these criteria, and then when adopted to have an evaluation plan ready to go. So in the consideration of a new plan or a new program or the current adoption of one, to actually build the skill set learned in the module and learned in the course